It was a cold, drizzly afternoon when Jake Callahan pulled into the gas station, his old pickup rattling as he parked by the pump. His hands were rough from years of construction work, his flannel jacket worn thin. Money had been tight since his wife passed away, leaving him to raise his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, on his own. Every penny he earned went toward keeping a roof over their heads, but it was never enough. As he stepped out, he noticed a sleek black sedan parked nearby, its driver, a woman in a crisp white blouse, kneeling beside a flat tire, frustration etched across her face. The rain had started to fall heavier, and Jake could see she was struggling. Without a second thought, he grabbed his toolbox and approached her. "Need a hand?" he asked with a friendly smile. The woman, visibly relieved, nodded. "I was just about to call for roadside assistance, but it's taking forever." Jake knelt beside the car and got to work. His hands moved swiftly, the way they had countless times before, tightening lug nuts and replacing the tire with practiced ease. The woman, whose name was Emily, watched in amazement. "You really didn't have to do this," she said as he wiped his hands on a rag. "Especially in this weather." Jake shrugged. "I know what it's like to need help." She noticed his tired eyes, the calluses on his fingers, and the small rust spots on his truck. There was something about him, an honesty, a quiet strength, that struck her. As Jake finished, Emily reached into her designer handbag. "Please, let me pay you for your time." Jake shook his head. "No need. Just glad I could help." Emily hesitated, then smiled. "Well, if you ever change your mind, my name's Emily Parker." Jake didn't think much of it. He nodded, tipped his cap, and drove home to his little girl, thinking only of how he'd stretch his next paycheck. But 2 days later, everything changed. A knock at his door startled him. Standing outside was Emily, holding an envelope. "I looked you up," she admitted, smiling. "I hope you don't mind." Jake frowned in confusion as she handed him the envelope. When he opened it, his breath caught. Inside was a check for $50,000. "I run a foundation that helps hardworking people get back on their feet," she explained. "I know what it's like to struggle. Someone once gave me a chance, and now I want to do the same for you." Jake's hands trembled. He opened his mouth to protest, but Emily held up a hand. "Don't say no. Think of it as an investment, in you, in your daughter, in the kindness you put into the world." Tears welled in Jake's eyes as he looked down at the check. For the first time in years, the weight on his shoulders felt lighter. That night, as he tucked Lily into bed, he whispered, "Things are going to be different, sweetheart. Someone believed in us today." And in that moment, he realized, one act of kindness had not only changed a tire, it had changed his life.